One of the things that draws us to reincarnate time and again is regret. Regret and longing. Regret that we did things a certain way, and a longing for things that we missed out on or didn't quite achieve. And so we return to try again, to find out what makes us happy and relieve suffering. That's the whole point of everything. And gradually we grow, our souls develop and evolve, and we become more whole. Now, the thing that I've learned over the past year, since going to the gym, starting to go to the gym, which I've never done before, well, apart from, hey, it's January, I'm going to be fit this year, sign up for a contract and never go more than the once. Done that a lot. But this year, I've consistently gone to the gym. My wife built a space in our attic, and I don't have to even leave the house, which is probably why I'm going. It's convenient, it's easy. There's little friction apart from convincing myself to go up one flight of stairs to get to the gym. And it's been the key that unlocked me. And I've been teaching in the spiritual and esoteric area and practicing methodologies for energy healing and meditative journeying and for my whole life almost, it feels, since I was about 15, and I started walking this spiritual path. Like, that's when reality suddenly started to make sense. I learned about reincarnation and the teachings of the Masters of the Far East. Oh, would you believe it? I'm sorry. I'm just going to take a little break, and I was on a roll. That's the bread. I need to go and sort it out, or I will have a bread volcano. It's finished rising. See you again in a minute. So where was I? Talking about where I began, I think, and just general comments about reincarnation, I think, and how things started to make sense to me and felt right. Like, not from an intellectual level, but just a knowing level. This is how it all fits together, kind of realization. And there's a kind of a pure 15-year-old insight that we pass through where when we know things, we just know them and we trust them. Which has taken me, I'm 52 now, it's taken me all of those decades to forget about it in some respects, but not really, I suppose. I've deepened and gained context and, walked my own path of self-realization. And now I'm at this point where I'm reconnecting, consciously connecting with my physical body in a way that I can't ever remember having done so before. Now, we know that everything is energy, right? And so all of our actions and behaviors and decisions begin, out here, and they get denser and denser. The energy comes through, and then we do the thing with this physical body, whatever it is we've decided to do. And there's a record here of everything. And I think that ultimately what matters is every moment that we allowed love to flow, and we kind of broke through any barrier to that presence of love in our lives. I think that they will be the moments that are important. Not how big your car is, not how big your house is, not how much money you had in the bank, but how you acted, how you behaved, and not only how you acted, but how I, let me take it back to me, because this is the point of view that I can really speak from and to. Hang on, I've lost the thought. It's not merely the action, but the motivation behind the action. Did I do it with mean spirit? Or did I do it with an open heart, from the best place that I could tap into inside myself? And perhaps that mean spirit is the best place that I can tap into right now. Maybe that's a step up from utterly destroying whatever it is, but doing something positive on the outside, but like really not wanting to. Maybe that's the step that I can make in that moment, which is better than not doing anything at all. It's something to think about, hey? And so love looks different in different moments. Kindness looks different in different moments. Growth is not always what society would judge as good. Good is a very, very interesting term. I like to come back to reality. Reality is. It just is. And every time I fight with it, I lose. And what I'm coming to realize, coming back to going to the gym, connecting with my body, going inside and not being afraid of this body, which will be an interesting contemplation actually, as we get sort of little peaks of it come through. I've been afraid of this body. Okay, I don't know where that came from or where that will take me, but I'll just put that to the side for now. But as I've been working with the free weights and moving my body in the gym deliberately and breathing in and grounding myself and really being present when I do those things, there seems to be this, and like I'm a body worker, so I've helped other people to unlock physical blockages in their physical bodies, energy blockages, and work through them. But that's been, I don't know, I was removed from that because it wasn't me. I was always the facilitator, the holder of the space. And now I'm learning how to do that for myself and allowing my wife to ground me through those moments. Like, we work out together and we call each other, to be present, and so that's a really important part of our the way we hold each other. Yeah, I'm not sure where that thought is taking me, but I'm kind of come back to I'm really trying to pull out a thread and stay with it and just talk and speak to that. I have always so many doorways that open up in every single moment about where I could go to, and I'm practicing being focused into, and staying in the room that I'm in, and it really going into all of the corners rather than opening all the windows and seeing, what else comes next. I'm learning about ADHD in adult women. It's been eye-opening. Anyway, and so I feel things in my body and I have a release, and I can sort of go into that space and feel the energy moving through my body. Like, I'll often get a buzz that goes through my body that's really energizing, or feels a little bit like fizzing or whooshing. I promise it's not me on the verge of a heart attack or anything. But it's been really, really interesting. And since I began going a year ago, I have been able to be more present and go deeper in my shadow work and the way that I teach shadow work. And so the two active ways that I am bringing shadow work to you at the moment is journaling and artworking. And this month, the topic has been alchemizing regret into empathy. And what happens is I literally I sort of look at what I'm working through, and I will pull that out and put that onto the video or the journaling prompts, and I do the work, and then I share that with you. That's literally what I'm doing. So if you go into the Patreon, at the moment you can be a free member and check out the journaling and the artworking that I'm talking about right now. Our official launch is in March on spring equinox. So until then you have access to all of the stuff. So it was a really beautiful, gentle session this time. And okay, so here's the story. My leg cramped up during a workout. I thought that I felt something ping in my foot, and I swear by the end of the night I thought that I'd ripped a tendon or something. My entire leg sort of seized up in this cramp. And now it took me several days to work out that it was a cramp. And when I went into it to ask my body what was going on and stopped being scared and turning away from the shadow and leaning into it, settling down and making space to get soft inside the shadow, then I sort of connected it with an instance in when my daughters were young. One of my daughters, her leg cramped up. Now, this took me into feelings of utter failure as a mother, and a wife back then. I was for my ex, and into that, I don't know. There were so many times where I was completely disconnected. And anyway, so this feeling in my leg was really frightening, and I had the opportunity now to work with this painful, cramped up leg in the way that I now regretted not doing with my little girl. She must have been so frightened. She must have been in so much pain. I can remember getting crutches for her and going, yep, we just need, some magnesium, and oh my God, the things that I hold myself accountable for now, the decisions I made and the actions I took were the best ones, and from the biggest place of love that I could access at the time. We all do that. That's where we come from. We can't come from any other space. This, seems like a good idea at the time. It's the best ideas, the best decisions that I could make considering who I was. But now I sort of went right into that, and so it brought up all of these feelings of how I would justify my behaviour, and it helped me to, you'll see if you go in and have a look at the journaling prompts in the journaling session. These are the questions I was asking myself as I went down into these matters, really, really, until I could find a place of humility. And we don't get there until we can be really honest with ourselves and unafraid of the shadow. Now, that's the shadow work. That's what we're doing. And so sometimes I'll do the journaling first, which will lead into the art working, like the art therapy. Sometimes it will be the other way around. And each one complements the other, supports the other. And generally what I'll find is one of them will help me soften the hard edges of self-recrimination or self-criticism. And really, when I take the time to get humble in front of all of those images and voices and pictures and work out where they're coming from and why, it takes courage, and it might take a few times, especially if I've numbed out, like really numbed out. It might take a few times, and each session might be a bit different. Different scenarios or different moments of my life might come out for me to work with, but there's a thread that goes through all of it, and it's so worth it. And so now my leg's pretty good. I went to the gym a couple of days ago with an upper body, like that was fine, a little bit of bending, that was fine. And today I'll go to the gym and get back into it, just with a new, deeper awareness and presence of how my body is going. And now all of this stuff in my leg, there was a book I used to reference, was it in the 80s or 90s? It must have been the 90s, called The Body is the Barometer of the Soul. It was a fascinating book. I can't remember who wrote it. I'll have a look and put it in the notes, or put a picture here of the cover. But it's really spoke to my instinct for connection, my need for connection, to see how everything weaves together, the physical and the energy center and the emotional space, and how that all fits together. And it still makes perfect sense to me, all of those things. Sometimes it seems so obvious to me how things are connected that I feel like were I to explain that to you, I'd be telling you how to suck eggs, because surely everybody must see that, but they don't. And so I will try to be diligent in my explanations of everything. And if you already know a thing, sometimes it's good to be reminded, I notice, for me. But I'll try not to assume anything and just talk about stuff. And the more I do it, the less stupid I feel about, you don't need to say this because everybody already knows, or don't say that, you'll sound like a fool. I can't be bothered with that anymore. These are the things I know, these are the things I think. And if you're here at the end of this video, maybe you're curious and interested, or maybe I'm just entertaining that way and giving you a bit of a chuckle, or a reason to, a little bit of friction to rub up against. Because sometimes I need that too, to help get that energy going. Go, why am I having a problem with this? It's always about how you're reacting. It's not about the other person ever. It's about how and why you're reacting the way you are. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this and see if anything made any sense, or if it's a whole bunch of garbled blah. Because at the moment that's what it feels like. We'll see. So, if you like this video, go ahead and like it. I'm going to put out a vlog every month talking about the journaling and the artworking sessions that I put into our Patreon community, and why it came up and how I worked with myself through those things. So subscribe if you would like more of that, and do go and check out the free membership on the Patreon, because right now you can see pretty much almost everything for another few weeks. Okay, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them below the video. I love chatting with you. Okay, bye.